So ahead, it's Greg Allison with Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm. Yes, I am growing worms. Coming to you live. And we're going to talk about a number of threats from a prepper standpoint, since many of you homesteaders and gardeners, or gardeners are homesteaders and homesteaders are preppers. So we're going to go over that. We're not going to cover the typical war news that I usually have been covering. I'm handling that now on Soilhead News, along with the political news and things like that. That's over on my Soilhead News channel now, even though that is of great prepper interest, especially knowing that war is a big threat to our infrastructure. So we're going to talk about it, but from a different standpoint, not the everyday, day-to-day stuff like I will be covering over there. So I just want to make you guys aware to check out Soilhead News. That said, we got a lot going on right now, my friends. We've got recalls on products, and we've got on a nut butter, and specifically from Walmart. We've got a salmonella threat from that. And we've got to worry about now robots and warfare. China's been developing robotic warfare technologies real fast, but an American company is coming to fruition, Future Foundation Industries, and we're going to be going to the humanoid combat robot business. So at least China will have something to face them off, maybe if they pull it off. And we've got new bio-warfare discussions going on, what it really means if we get into bio-warfare. These are things I've covered on this channel before, and that's why I'm bringing them back, because I've had cutting-edge predictions in these regards, and I brought you news that nobody else is talking about in these areas on this channel. So I will cover those tonight because they're of keen prepper interest, and we'll talk about things to do for that. And we're going to talk about earthquake threats and a lot of other stuff going on right now. So buckle up. We're going to go into the news articles on this stuff. We're going to try to get through these topics fast tonight, simply because it's late and I got to get up extremely early. So buckle up, my friends. Here we go. And I am going to do a ding, ding, ding. Come over here and do a share screen. We're going to talk about the salmonella threat first. Almost hitting the wrong button. So many buttons down here. I have tried to share screen and ended the video. The video. All righty, my friends, here we are. Salmonella worries prompt recall for pistachio nut butter sold at Walmart. Pistachio nut butter. It's the Better Goods pistachio nut butter may be contaminated with salmonella. I'm letting you know this in case you've already bought some. You may not want to use it. Now, nut butters are known for actually being a super nutrition type food. They're full of nutrition. But in this case, you don't want it. You don't want it. And we know there's a lot of quality concerns with all these products coming from the various many industries, and specifically the big box stores, the big corporations. So these are things to worry about. We're going to talk a little bit about that major explosive diarrhea outbreak in a little bit. That's coming up too. So, like I said, we got a lot of news to cover tonight, but we're going to try to get through it fast. I'd like to be done within like less than 30 minutes if possible. So we're going to try to really cook through it. So, my friends, this is something, Kansas City High Road. That's a different article. Never mind. So, guys, if you're buying Better Goods pistachio nut butter, I'd be kind of concerned with any pistachio nut butter sold at Walmart right now. Because, a lot of times they put different labels on the same product. Hey, good to see you, Colorado Jim. Been a while, Janet. Good to see you in here. And salute to Janet. She sends me a check in the mail every month. So I appreciate her support for the channel. I'm not seeing her in here for a while to give her that token of appreciation. Okay, guys, so let's get through here. I like to recognize people that support my channels. All right. This one's a little bit out of kilter. I'd planned to put this. I have another list on this first death. Actually, there's a couple deaths reported. There's even more cases than this. Now, this article here is yesterday, but they're talking about Michigan. Oh, Michigan cases are surpassing 11,000. Okay, and they're higher than that in Missouri. So this is your cyclosporiasis, however you say it. Guys, it's really spread. It's in 15 states now. And there's like 193 hospitalizations. Over 2 people have passed away from this. So this is not a joking matter anymore. This, and it's coming in a lot of different grains. Here they're showing it's not just in Taco Bell anymore. Taco Bell removed all their lettuce products from Taylor Farms. So we're going to talk about Taylor Farms. We'll talk about this outbreak more in a minute. But just, guys, you got to be aware that a lot of these products you're buying, you got to pay a lot of attention to. And it's something I've talked about. I've done several product safety videos on here. You got to know that there's 12 companies that control over 550 different consumer brands. And they're full of toxins. You've got a lot of stuff. Oh, there's a check on the way. Well, thank you, Colorado Jim. Veronica, good to see my old friend Veronica in here. All right, folks. So, guys, this stuff, these companies don't care about you. They care about the bottom line. They have deemed it as cheaper to pay off lawsuits than provide good, clean products. They won't even meet the European standards for what's in a safe product because those same standards are not applied here in the United States because the industry has heavy sway with the Congress critters put money on the table and there's a revolving door between all the regulatory agencies and the regulatee companies because people retire from the regulatee companies and they go to the industries or they come from the industries into the regulatory companies and wind up on the board, high managerial jobs with big paychecks. So they all expect to go back and forth. So they're not going to really regulate them too heavily. And that's for your food products. Now, the products for stuff you put on your skin care, sunscreen, lotions, detergents, shampoos, body washes. Oh my gosh, guys, they're even worse. They're far less regulation. And what you put on your skin goes straight to your bloodstream. And I've already done a special on this channel where I show you something you put in your mouth. Toothpaste, over 90% of the toothpaste are contaminated with heavy metals. And I read off the test reports for brand after brand after brand, telling you exactly what metals they had and how much. And it is horrendous. This is including, brands that are sold specifically as health versions and sold to your children. So, guys, if they don't care about that, what do they care about? They want stuff to last long on the shelf. They want stuff to be addictive, flavors and things that get, R.J. Reynolds bought into a lot of these food companies, and they want to, they're substituting nicotine with other chemicals to get you addicted to these foods and artificial colors for marketing purposes. So it's a lot of junk, And some of these companies had good ingredients, but once they got bought into these big 12 corporations, they started substituting ingredients. Oreo cookies. I've seen videos of people putting Oreo cookies to torches and they don't even burn. What kind of food won't burn in a torch? Yeah. All kind of nasty stuff, my friends. So, and you got to bear in mind that those companies have at least 10% interest in them, typically from these big 3 asset management companies. And that's enough interest to actually control the companies, the biggest of which is BlackRock, which is run by your dear friend Larry Fink, who also runs the House of Klaus, the form of economics of the world. I said it backwards. So you might know that's so the Al Gores that have no rhythm won't slap me so hard. Why in the world? Anyway, so this is things you want to watch out for. And anytime you buy this stuff, you're voting for these guys who are in the partnership program from that forum the House of Klaus I just mentioned, and you're voting for these guys too. So I would say buy clean products. Don't support those knuckleheads that want to take your property, your freedoms, and tell you and have you riding a tricycle on a 15-minute city and eating the bugs as their ultimate goals. Go to switchwithgreg.com. Don't support them. Switch away from that stuff. That's why I come up with switchwithgreg.com. This is my website. So any data when you come in here and put in your name, it goes straight to me. I share it with my friend Lisa, who's a member of the community. It will help bring you on board this stuff. We're talking about a family-owned company, not the big corporation. It's a family-owned company. It's all made in America with non-toxic products. I don't even require child-proof caps on them, my friends. Good stuff. Anyway, all that said, let's get back into Z News instead of Z Bugs, right? America's terrifying secret plan to deal with biological weapons attacks. So, guys, this is something I have been talking to you guys about for a long time. Yeah, Veronica and I know each other from way back in the policy committee days of the National Space Society. Anyway, so she was a big supporter of my policy committee back in the day, big super space activist friend from way back, decades ago. All right, guys, so America's Terrifying Secret Plan. What is going on here? Well, there's been a new book come out that's it's kind of a fiction story, but it really outlines the real plans and plannings. Biological War, a Scenario, is published by Dutton by Annie Jacobson. And in here, she's talking about how they've got something that's equivalent. You know, we always call it continuity of government, but they got another name for it. It's called devolution. Devolution is the new name for continuity government. It's the name specifically that applies to this stuff. And basically, what would happen is that they would take the president away, and hide him in a bunker somewhere. And the job of the military and the Department of Homeland Security will be securing our nuclear power plants, not defending the people. There's really nothing they can do for you if some of these super bugs get out. We're not talking about the bug that broke out in 2020, which had 1% fatality rate to shut the whole country down over, and really ticked off a lot of people, really. I have shown you in videos in the past where China, and others actually too, have developed and have in their laboratories pathogens that are 100% lethal. You get it, you're doing a funky chicken. 100% lethal. Yeah. Now, there's always going to be somebody that survives. But, guys, I have covered this stuff in videos in the past. I've talked about how a former defense minister in China actually allegedly, supposedly had a speech that said that the text has been obtained for. Some people want to refute it. But a lot of the tenets of that speech is what we see going on in China today. So I would say at least it rhymes with what's going on in there. Well, that speech outlaid a plan to wipe out the entire population, the United States, Canada, and Australia, entire populations. So it's something we've got to pay attention to. This is no joke. How can you defend yourself against something that's 100% fatal? You don't catch it. How do you not catch it? You're going to have to isolate in that case. You will have to self-quarantine to survive. This ain't like the ouchie Fauci bug that went around in the past. We're talking some stuff here that is serious. I've covered some of these pathogens in previous videos. I've talked about some of them. They're out there. They're in the labs. China specifically has a number of them. There have been a couple of other versions also developed in the Netherlands and Indonesia, of all places. You got to remember, biolabs are all over the world, and bio warfare is considered the poor man's or poor country's nuke warfare. It's a way to have weapons of mass destruction that's cheaper. Well, how do you keep it from coming back on you? Well, they would probably come up with several different techniques. One, genetic markers. Maybe they go after specific peoples. Two, they could have viruses that only replicate, or bugs, other bugs, bacteria that only replicate so many times. The thousands, millions of times that have an internal clock built in which they could basically stop replicating. Of course, none of those are bulletproof. You get mutations. What's made for this guy will not mutate to catch this guy. The clock might break. So they would have vaccines too. It'd be belts and suspenders redundancy to keep the elite that launched it from getting the blowback from it directly, supposedly, theoretically. Of course, they probably didn't watch, the second installment of Jurassic Park, where the scientist says life finds a way. Yeah, it's not something I want to play, but to play with, they already got them in the lab, so they could accidentally get released. If they don't plan to release them, the release could be accidental. Too many labs have these pathogens. They should have never been allowed. It's called function research. It should have never been allowed on our planet, but it has, and they're there. If you want to do this kind of work, do it on the moon or an asteroid. Not even the moon's. The moon's too close. Do it on an asteroid, way off away. Better yet, don't do it at all. Don't do it at all. It's too risky. But these scientists get these ideas. Well, this is going to help us to be able to deal with it. Theoretically, they claim this will help us to be able to deal with it if it actually outbreaks. You know, Sir Martin Rees, the Astronomer Royal of the United Kingdom, wrote his book. The American version is called Our Final Hour. I think he called it Our Final Century in the UK, but you realize that wouldn't sell in the United States. But he predicted that there was a 50-50 chance that we would not survive 100 years. And I would think that was optimistic. And his main contributor he was afraid of was Bio-Terra or Bio-Era. I've got a copy of his book somewhere packed away. I used to show it in some of my previous videos. Guys, I think it's worse than what he said. The pathogens are already in the laboratory. When he wrote that book, they weren't. Why? Oh my gosh, guys, why? These are things you got to be prepared for. These are things to get ready for. These are things to be concerned about. They're real. They exist. They're in the labs, and there have been accidental releases of things in labs before. Way too often. I've talked about that too. So we're talking here from the prepper standpoint. Now, if you're a homesteader and you live out on a homestead and you're remote, you're ahead of the game. If you're growing your own food, you don't have to go to town to buy it, you're ahead of the game. The less stuff you got to go to town to buy, the better off you are. And if you garden, you're better off where you're gardening, where you don't have to go buy stuff to run your garden. You're making your own compost. You're doing organic. I've shown videos at the very inception of this channel of how to do that. Isolate yourself as much as possible in those events. So, yeah, we're talking about a biological twilight here. They're saying what they would do, according to this scenario, is that they would basically hunker down and let the pathogen burn through the population until it was over. Once it kind of went through everything, that's over, then they would emerge. Of course, that's probably what any elites that's watching this, well, that would be their last string of redundancy. They would do the same thing. They probably don't care about their own people. I mean, where did the Wuhan get released first? In Wuhan. So they blamed it on a wet market, even though the lab doing research and the same kind of bugs was just right over here next door. And now we know some people that were in that lab allegedly were sick prior. Interesting. All too interesting. Why's no chat been popping up for a bit? Anyway, somebody say hi, say boo. Let me know y'all still alive. All right, guys. So I'll read the chat in a moment. I'll get to the new stuff. Guys, this is something you've got to, there's many things to take into account, many reasons to prepare, and some things you got to prepare for differently. Homesteaders are, whether they know it or not, default preppers. Preppers by default, because homesteading is the ultimate prepping. But, you know, if you're not homesteading and you're a prepper, you need to be thinking about how you could homestead. Get out of the cities. The cities are the worst places to be when everything goes down, especially if there's something spreading like crazy. If you're in a city, you better be taping up your doors and windows and all kind of stuff. But then how are you going to get fresh air to breathe? You see what we're talking about here? Yeah, this article goes in a lot of depth. I'm not reading the article. It's okay to read excerpts from articles if you're providing commentary on them. I've seen other YouTube channels that are much bigger. Read straight out of articles. That is illegal. I'm surprised they haven't been banned. Some of them do get banned. But a lot of them, hey, boo, good. I know y'all still breathing. I know my chat room's still working. That's good. All right, guys. So here's some of the videos I've covered in these topic areas before. China to attack you. That's one of them. And let's see, there's others. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about China getting uranium in a little bit. This is a video I did 5 years ago talking about, and there's one I did with the late, great Dr. Peter Vincent Pry, an old buddy of mine. He's passed away, unfortunately. So here's a video I did some time back. Yeah, I've been talking about some of this China's nukes. They had a second field where they're putting in like for 100 silos for missile launchers. Everybody says, well, China only got 300 nukes. Now they're saying maybe 1,000. Guys, if you believe that, I got some tropical beachfront property to sell you on the Barren Strait. Jeez. Guys, they've got missiles now that can carry 10 warheads each. And a bunch of them are on mobile missile launchers, but they built 300 silos. 300 times 10 is 3,000. How many missiles, how many warheads do they have? We don't know. And that's the honest truth. We don't know. But I'm going to show you a little bit. They've been getting a lot more uranium than we have known about. So one solution, though, going back to this bio thing, I'm going to work this up. I've got this concept for this universal habitat. I've done several videos on it some years ago. Again, this is 4 years ago. It's been a while since I've done a video on this topic. I'm hoping to build one right out here. But I got plans for how this could be hermetically sealed, how you could actually produce your own oxygen inside of it based on a space habitat design I was working on in the late 90s with Dr. Susan Dahl, who was also worked on the Biosphere Project, which is based out here in Arizona. And of course, we know what mistakes they made with oxygen because the cement was taken up. Well, I got a better idea. And we can scale it down to the size of your home, a home you can grow all your food in, make a living out of, and be totally self-contained and self-sufficient, and play around with some energy ideas that would keep it running. No grid required, no nothing. Collect its own rainwater, everything. So this is I've been working this concept up since I first come up with it several years ago, and then some earlier videos are even older than that, 7 years ago. Yeah, so I was covering this some time back. There's a video I did about it 5 years ago with Gail Angeles. So my friends, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you can see various videos I've done on this concept. I just had to go to my videos and put in the word universal habitat. If you want to find those videos, that's how you find them. Go to my channel. You can't do this on a phone. You have to use a computer to do that. All right, guys. Robot soldiers are being built in America to fight tomorrow's wars, and the alarm is growing. This is coming to us from the Foundation Futures Industries. They are building robots that would work in factories, build future megacities according to them, and wage war, do combat. And the company's net worth is already estimated $1 billion. They got started in 2024, just 2 years. And so maybe they think they're going to pass Elon Musk's robots here. So we'll see what they can pull off with this. Yeah, there've been some proposed for a ban on killer robots. Well, they're already out there. We got the little dog robots with machine guns on them. And, look what was going on in the Ukraine-Russia war. So, guys, the genie is already out of the bottle. Asimov's 3 laws, or, his laws of robotics are already out the door. iRobot, forget it, guys. It's already been led by military purposes more than anything else. So the guy who started this company, or co-founder of it, is Sankik Pathak. Hope I said his name right. But he's saying, hey, we'll have less civilian deaths with robots fighting robots, and the soldiers to be used for the, only the real high-end operations. So he's talking about still also 4-legged robot dogs and 2-legged humanoid robot warriors. And this is your man bringing you the Terminator right here. All right, so there you go. And as you might guess, I've already covered this topic. And that's why I'm bringing this on this channel tonight too, because I'm moving this channel more to gardening topics. But this is just some unfinished business because China coming for you. This is a video I did over a year ago talking about the robotic threat from China, how they would use. I talked about this before it ever made any news, and Peter Zion was saying China is going to fall apart because of the demographic threat they got. And I come back and said, no, they're not. Not entirely. Yeah, they're having a lot of problems over it, but they're going to use robotics to make up for the shortfall in their demographics, their labor market, and that I showed how they would use them in many different applications. And I even showed how they could pay for them with their economy crashing and how it would cause their economy to rebound and grow like crazy, and how they can militarize them to produce forces like you read about in the book of Revelation, the 200 million soldiers crossing the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. It could be totally robotic, including the horses they would ride on. And you know what? After I did this prediction, robotic horses came out. The robotic horses, and we saw the Kawasaki one. Well, now there's one in China. So guess what? Yeah, in China, since filled in military robots, including humanoid robots, four-legged dog robots. I prophesied this before it ever come to pass, before it made news media anywhere. And then, yeah, the T-800. Yeah, look what the name they chose for a humanoid robot fighter. I even talked about how they could use robots to help with their offset their demographics, how they could use incubators and things for kids. The kind of plans they got in China right now are nuts. They're nuts. So these are things that I've been talking about on here. And the reason I'm talking about is these are, oh, there's that new silo fill stuff, slaughter bots 4 years ago. Worried about them getting in the hands of gangs. Well, we see Ukraine using robots just like this now. So these are things I've covered from years back. I got insights into these kind of things because, one, I'm an engineer and I look at trends. I look at trends. I look at problems, and then I try to figure out how this country knows they got this problem. They really know it. How are they going to deal with it? And I look for such, oh, they're already dealing with it. They're just being quiet about it, and they were initially. Hey, Cowboy Art, I'll go, hey, New Days, good to see you. Good morning for you. The singularity is already here. Yeah, there are reports that the singularity is already here. I'm still alive. But there are some AI bots that have was in development, broke out of their safety, both from Anthropic and from ChatGPT's homecoming, what's it called, OpenAI, and they hacked other companies. So this is already going on. The robots are fighting robots. AI is fighting AI. So crazy stuff. But here's what I want to warn you about with this goes back to China and their nuke program. This just came out. Scientists discover thousands of tons of undeclared uranium hidden by Congo, by the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah, really, Democratic Republic. Anytime a country puts Democratic Republic in their name, you know, it's a junta, a regime. Usually left, commie left. But anyway, so they've been supplying cobalt all over the world. Well, it turns out this cobalt had, or rocks that were sent into China had a lot of uranium in it. Lots, thousands of tons of uranium. Of course, it takes a lot of enrichment to make nuclear weapons with, but you got thousands of tons coming from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Congo is what I'll just call it. And plus whatever they got in domestic in their own country, which is considerable. China is a large country, and they don't look at environmental things like we do here in the United States. A lot of the uranium is on Navajo lands, just north of me up here in Arizona. But we've kind of tamped down harvesting that stuff because out of respect for the Navajo Nation and other factors. Plus, we just stopped manufacturing stuff in this country, mining and manufacturing. But something that the tariffs are trying to address and maybe turning around. But guys, this says that China has plenty of source material to work for to build the nukes, to fill those silos, plus their mobile launchers, and Lord only knows what they got over there. Only Lord and Xi Jinping. They're the only ones that really know what they got. And that's a scary thought. And back to our power grid, one of my early topics on this channel, which got preppers interested in my channel. Because I originally was just covering gardening topics and worm farm topics, and everybody discovered that I had chaired 2 power grid defense conferences. So I did a video on it, and it went viral before my worm video went viral. That was my first viral video on this channel. I say viral, 100,000 views. That's not viral on a lot of channels, but it is for me. And I haven't gotten anywhere near that many views in years. So, guys, now you probably know that we're putting in all these AI data centers, and you probably know a lot of them are building their own power plants, and some of them small modular nuclear reactors, because it's going to like double or triple the electrical power needs of this country. And our grid is old. It's nowhere ready to handle it. We're building all this stuff. But guess what? A lot of us had hopes with these small modular nuclear reactors that they would establish microgrids and maybe could be used for backup power to the nuclear power plants so that the fuel rod pulls wouldn't cook off. Well, guess what, guys? Guess what? They're not hardening these systems. They're not taking the steps needed to make it. Now, there's a company in the United States that makes this neutral ground blocker for the big transformers, which is the most vulnerable piece of equipment on our power grid. They're 200 to 400 tons a piece. And, you know, they are used to step up and step down high voltage electricity for long distance transmission. Our power grid that's the backbone of our power grid for bulk power transfer all over the country. And those things, it takes 3 years now just to get them on your loading dock after you order one. So I've been railing about problems with those for some time. And I'm off on a tangent. I was going to say something else. Oh, yeah. Well, they got these neutral ground blockers, the technology for it to put in those. It should harden them against the EMP and a lot of other threats along those lines. EMP, also coronal mass ejection from the sun. But guess what? United States companies aren't EM Primus is a company that's got this technology. Their technology was stolen from them by China, who steals all U.S. technology, practically. And China has en masse put it throughout their power systems. Their grid is hardened with technology they stole from the United States, which nobody in the United States is putting in here. And to make it even worse, the power grid companies have spent more money on K Street lawyers, and Veronica knows where K Street's at, I'm sure, because we had a couple of meetings there back in the National Space Society days, policy committee stuff and other things. That's where all your lobbyists are in Washington, D.C. They're on K Street. That whole street is nothing but lawyers, lobbyists. That's where the legislation is actually written. Well, they spend more money paying those lawyers than are taking them from the hardened grid in the first place. And that was revealed by Command Sergeant Major Mike Mabee, who I've had on this channel many times too. He got on 60 Minutes later, and it's kind of disappeared. I think they put too much heat on him because he was spanking them hard. He was trying to file for all kinds of disclosures and things like that, and suddenly he got quiet. You got to wonder what happened there. I'm going to have to reach out to him. Uh-oh, what happened? It just went backwards here. I hate it when you scan across things. So what are they doing? What they're saying, our enemies are planning to blow it up. So, guys, I don't make this stuff up. So, talking about power grid is not the only infrastructure at risk. Our water systems. Now we got 7 states getting the water systems hacked by our good friends over in Iran, the IRGC. And I do say that very facetiously, if you've noticed. So if you don't know where I stand about that, look back some older videos or go to Swivelhead News. And even some of the other things going on in this country, like the big Spokane fire. Well, guess what? An arsonist got arrested. Wasn't natural. These are all things we got to prep for, guys. My phone keeps having other things pop up in front of your video, Greg. The laptop's broke down. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with your phone. You might have a virus on it. Jan, you better see if you know they're viral. You can get McAfee will scan your phone. If you got McAfee, it'll keep your phone scanned. Panic is explosive diarrhea outbreak moves in the 6 more states. Deaths emerging. They go about this Taylor iceberg lettuce. We'll look at this from another dimension in a minute. 15 states, which I already mentioned that. So, yeah, this is getting rough. In Missouri, so we just talked about Michigan, like over 11,000 cases. Yeah, that's crazy. Over 1,095 cases in Missouri. So this is from the 2nd of August. It's probably lots higher now. And here's the sad thing. Even farms that don't have the bug in their lettuce have lost demand for the lettuce. Suddenly the market for lettuce has dropped. So a lot of farmers can't sell it. So what are they doing? They're plowing their lettuce fields in and hoping for better luck in the next season. This is a huge economic loss to a lot of legitimate farmers. Now, what's happened is Taylor Farms, which was based out of California, because of California water regulations, California tightening down on farmers left and right, just like Oregon is doing also, and probably Washington State. It's getting really hard for people to operate farms in these areas, especially small farms. Some of the bigger farms get some free passes, but not in California. Even the big farms are getting stomped hard. So what's Taylor Farms done? They started buying all their stuff out of Mexico. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of the lettuce from Taylor Farms comes out Mexico. And, you know, they don't have the same standards in all these other countries about food. So why are we bringing in so much food from Mexico and from China? Huh? Guys, you know, they just don't have the same health standards, the same sanitation standards, and it's not inspected like it is when it's coming from America. Jeez, no wonder. No wonder. Well, the big corporations really don't care. They probably like it better that way. They're getting it cheaper. Now, that's not going to be as fresh because it's truck father and the vitamin content, nutrition content, and food specialty fresh vegetable starts dropping off from the day it's picked. That's why you should be growing your own or going to farmers market and buying from local farmers who you vouch for growing things naturally, organically, but organic allows for certain things. Natural grow is even better. That's what I do. So, guys, grow your own if you can. And for that, go check out my links I'll put below to True Leaf Market, maybe Eden Brothers. That'll help yourself and help me. And like I said, you need to, if you're a prepper and you're not homesteading, do it. If you're homesteading, you're by default a prepper. If you're a gardener, take it to the next level and consider prepping and maybe full-fledged homesteading and growing food where you don't have to go to the store. Go back to my old videos, my old original videos, back to the very roots of this channel. You'll see I'd put a lot of attention into making garden beds because good soil's living soil. And gardening starts with the soil. And any good book on gardening that don't tell you that in the first paragraph, first sentence, throw it away. It's useless. It's garbage. You see tons of AI videos where they're telling you how to farm. Man, those videos don't know jack diddle about anything. You follow them, you're going to be in trouble. Well, all they do, some voice talking or showing pictures and pictures, cartoons, whatever. I don't know. And I see a lot of prepping channels like that too now. Good Lord. A lot of garbage, a lot of boulder dash, let's just call it that. So, my friends, this is bad on the farmers. This is tough on farmers, real farmers. Actually, the winter lettuce, a lot of it is grown here in Arizona, around close to where Veronica's at, down south of her, actually. So that's sad for those people. They're already being squeezed for water, among other things, from the Colorado River right now. So, and other things are squeezing farmers too. And I bring this up because I'm going more to gardening content and food prep, food costs are critical. All the food costs will be driven some by energy costs going up, but that's not the only driver. Of course, there's fertilizer that's in more limited demand, but land rent is now a big driver and farm costs. Now, I got to tell you what, probably back when I started this channel, I was asking people around Madison County, Alabama, what they were getting, because I was thinking about expanding, maybe getting some renting some farmland myself. And the going rates up in Madison County at the time was $80 an acre, and that was good farmland. Sand Mountain, which had probably better farmland because it's far more rural, was only going for about $20 an acre. I'm kidding you, not kidding you, $20 an acre rent per year. Oh, it ain't that no more. And it's not $80 in Madison County, Alabama either. You can bet your bottom dollar. I got a good friend who rents out a lot of farmland. I probably need to see what his latest are on this. But high farmland rent forces early 2027 budget decisions for farmers. You got to know most of your farmers are older than me now, and a lot of them are leaving the business. They're leaving the industry. They're ready to retire, and all these added costs are making them make decisions. And farmers retiring and not coming back are a threat to food security, food supply, and food cost, which are all one and the same in reality. Now that's when how long they get to terminate a lease. Just so you see, some is days, some is a specific day of the month, some is months, different numbers on there. Different. Some states regulate that, some don't. But anyway, this is a huge new input because it's caught the land lease. Now, just because they terminate a lease don't mean that the farmer's been terminated. It just means that the landowner wants to renegotiate. Among other things, there's other competitive, far more profitable ways to use land than renting it out for farming, especially pave it over, put in housing units all over Madison County. I've seen lots and lots and lots and lots of prime farms turn into suburban development in the last several years. It's shocking how much good farmland is now housing its neighborhoods, no longer being farmed. Lots and lots of it. That drives the cost way up. You don't tell them what to charge for in Madison County now, but it's going to be a lot more because look here, they're talking in here. According to USDA ERS, about 40% of U.S. farmland is rented or leased. It's a good bill. Hey, I knew farmers and just down the street from where I was at didn't own an acre. They would have, well, they had where their house was in a barn with tractors and combines and all kind of equipment, but they didn't own a farm. They leased farms, and with their equipment they kept on their home site, but then they would go out and run these things all over the place. So what they were talking about over the past year, average cropland rent was $160 an acre. They said down $1 from the previous year, but that's last year. The average was 100, but get this, it's gone way up. It's going up. At Iowa, and Jones, Extension Program Specialist, Iowa State University, is talking here. She says, we try not to use it as a basis for rents, provide information about discussion. We're talking about, look, excellent quality land rose from $5. Now, this is the rise, not the rent. How much the price rose. $5 to $375 an acre. Good quality land climbed from $25 to $325 per acre. That's on top of whatever they were being charged before. Like $160 an acre was average. Average quality of land increased $13 to $273 an acre. This is this year. Last year it dropped down a little bit. This year it's going up fast. Fair quality land was the only category to decline, slipping $5 to $200 per acre. Fair quality land. But excellent, good, and average. Fair means it's pretty bad. Those land prices have shot up dramatically. And here's another thing that's affecting farmers. It's this not value added tax. What is it? It's a tax for ungained appreciation type tax, that a lot of places are trying to put on, you got an asset, its value goes up. You haven't sold it, you haven't made any money, but they want to tax you on that already, even though it might go down. Forget that. They'll have already collected their tax and be gone with it. Well, when you got land that was inherited, your farming inherited land, family farms, and suddenly because people are building houses all around you, the value of that land shoots way up, that can wipe you out. Because suddenly your taxes are more than you can make farming. So there's a lot of threats to farms these days. So this is more reason you need to grow your own food if at all possible. Now, this is a survey of farmers in the Midwest. and 56% thinks the prices will level off. 13% think that they will decline, and 31% say it's going to keep going up. Which one of these do y'all think? What do y'all think is going to happen here? Bill Gates needs to give me about 100 acres. Yeah, and you got the likes of the Billy Goat Gates owning so much farmland, and he wants you to eat his fake meat. Yeah, and then they got the bug and the ticks. You got to wonder if that's connected. You got to wonder. So, so this is all about that, guys. I'm just telling you that there's a whole lot of different factors driving food cost up. It's not just one thing, it's many. It's also driving a lot of your farmers out of business. And more economic news just south of the farm, Ray Dallow on the AI bubble. He says it's nearing the epic 2029 levels. Now, this could be an economic hit on us all. I'll probably raise sheep. There you go. I got a local friend here. He used to be on my channel a lot. I hadn't seen her in here in a while. Y'all might remember Arizona Cowgirl. She used to come in under the name Sweeps at one time. She's changed her ID a couple times. I hadn't seen her in a while. Well, here, I talked to her several months ago. It's been a while. She actually come her and her husband come to help me get this place started here, this tiny home I live in. She was urging me to grow sheep. I might think about that down the road. I got to build some fencing before I can grow anything. But we're talking the AI bubble here, guys. A lot of these AI companies are they're running on speculation. Everybody's starry-eyed. AI's the future. AI's the future. Oh, it's going to be big. It's huge. And they're investing crazy amounts of money. They're building data centers hand over fist. But a lot of these money companies like OpenAI and probably Anthropic, most of them aren't making any money. They're just spending money. The business case really isn't set for them yet. So there may be a big reckoning coming and coming fast. And I mentioned this some time back. Right now, that's what's driving the stock market. It's NVIDIA, the big tech companies. They're overinflated in price. NVIDIA's doing good because they're building all these data centers. A lot of the jobs in the country right now are related to building data centers. If this bubble pops, it's going to hurt bad. It doesn't mean AI is over by any stretch of the imagination. You got to remember the dot-com bubble, which bust right about year 2000, the dot-com bubble. It was a huge market crash. But did the internet cease to exist? No, it grew. It's just that people weren't growing it right, not based on solid business decisions. You got to have a business plan, and the business plan has to show a way to make money for something to work. And a lot of these companies, they're not there. Quite frankly, this is what Ray Dallow was talking about. I've mentioned this many moons ago, probably a year ago. It's just getting worse. I can't stay on. It took me out 3 times. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's why my viewership is down. Anybody else having trouble? Maybe Colorado Jen's phone. I think you may have a virus on your phone, Colorado Jen. You need to scan it. You need to scan your phone. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry you're having those difficulties. All right, guys, these are things to take into account. And this is all prepper news because if the economy crashes, we're all suffering. If you're a homesteader, you're ahead of the game. But if you're a homesteader that's working through that economy, you're going to be hurting too. And it's going to have a lot of ramifications. If you're a homesteader who also has a job building AI data centers on the side because the homestead isn't making you money, yeah, you better figure out how to survive on your homestead and make a few bucks. Maybe raising worms, microgreens, mushrooms, critters to sell, veggies to sell. Go to the farmer's market. Chicken nuggets. I'm talking about the ones they lay, not the ones you cut up. Mega quakes. I said I was going to talk about earthquakes too in the thumbnail, or not my thumbnail, but my title. I haven't done a thumbnail. Well, we got to wrap up. It's already past midnight here. We got to hurry this stuff up. Why America's next megaquake might strike sooner than we think. So they've been talking about the stresses on the San Andreas being 1,000 times greater wrote, greater than it has been in 1,000 years. We're starting to see some little earthquakes around that region. But it's more than that. They're talking about the Cascadia subduction zone is really primed. And that may unleash a 9.0 earthquake from the subduction zone, Cascadia subduction zone. So these are things that they're really getting worried about right now. A lot of discussion is stretch of Northern California, British Columbia, the Cascadia subduction zone. Chewy Weather's in the house. Are you in the house, Chewy? There's a major fault line over the ocean, over the Juan de Fuca plate is sliding beneath the North American plate. Yeah, it will cause tsunamis, all kinds of mayhem. So lots of warnings on that. Where a lot more articles are coming. California's top earthquake. And here they're talking about San Andreas. And apparently they find these earthquakes go off within a week of each other, maybe almost instantaneously. One goes and the other goes. And they're saying you're not just going to have a typical earthquake in San Andreas of a few seconds. It's going to last, I think, a couple minutes at least. And they're talking about the big one. I've heard about the big one since I was a kid, and it's just kept not coming. Well, guess what? All this time since then, over the many decades, the pressure has been building up more and more. California's major fault system is more stressed than at any point in the last 1,000 years. That's not a new point. I made this point before, and you said in a lot of articles. Said Chris Goldfinger. Was he in James Bond movie? Goldfinger. All right. So, yeah, my friends, this could be a huge rupture. They could both go off and tear the West Coast up bad. Odds of a magnitude 9 earthquake that would devastate West Coast spike after unusual finding. That's Goldfinger again. There he is. Goldfinger. He's sitting in the cockpit of a space shuttle. I bet you recognized that real fast, didn't you, Veronica? I know exactly what that cockpit is. That's a space shuttle cockpit. Hey, I've done space camp. I've practiced piloting a space shuttle in an adult space camp. And yeah, we had other teams. Our team managed to at least go in the simulation that pulled off a landing. The others didn't. They all crashed and burned. I had my commander was a real pilot, and I'm an engineer, so we managed to pull it off. But a magnitude 9 cascaded big one could trigger a second major earthquake in the San Andreas. Okay, what's their new finding in here? So, go finger on the space shuttle. Don't tell you that in the caption here, but I know what that is. And that's a glass cockpit version too. Well, still got a lot of gauges and switches. Oh my gosh, there's so many switches in that thing overhead and off to the side. Oh, tons of switches that you got to flip and check, cycle stuff. Yeah, that'll keep you busy. And you need to know where all those switches are. You got to train for that. That was a big challenge for us. We're doing our simulation. So, guys, we wound up off Northern California when let's see. Well, I think they're talking about their sediment cores they've been drilling out. They've been making some crazy findings. Cascadia megathrust earthquake was the second. Well, the second was, I'm not going to read it. But, guys, things to worry about. So let's look at the earthquake map while we're on the topic. Yeah, I spent some, whoa. But here, we got one that's a 6.3 in the Philippines with aftershocks. There's an aftershock of 5.1, and it's Sarangani. I don't know how to pronounce that. That was just my guess. There's another one real close to there in Ternate, Indonesia. Not that far from that place in the Philippines that got hit. Lord, we got fair size in here in Central America. Panama, 5.1. We got a new one here just south of New Zealand and the Auckland Islands. That's a 5.2. But I want you to look out here in the American West. All right, we got to zoom into that. A whole lot of earthquakes there, but in China, Japan, Alaska as usual. Let's look over here. Ding, 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 ding. What is all these? Indian Springs, Nevada. Harmony, Utah, but that earthquake disrupted the Harmony. Silver Peak, Nevada. Some of these places like that we've seen before. Yerton, Nevada. Oh, we got one over here close to the New Madrid fault. Uh-oh. Still Missouri, 2.6. Crazy. This area right here always has lots of earthquakes, right between Texas and New Mexico. White City, New Mexico. Now, that city we see a lot on here. We don't have any on the Juan de Fuca plate for a change, but look here. We got in Simon, California, 2.8, or San Simon. We got two, looks like here, in Kittleman City, California. And some of these may be fault lines that feed into the San Andres. You got to worry about that. Cloverdale, California. Covelo, or how you say that. And we got Willows. There's a word I can pronounce. Willows. And then we got one right here from Guatemala and Mexico, 4.3. And it looks like we got some in Puerto Rico, maybe, yeah, over here. We got some over here, and that's another Puerto Rican one, but this one's the Dominican Republic. The Virgin Islands are rocking tonight. U.S. Virgin Islands. They're rocking hard. People are dancing over in that part of the world, dancing hard, shaking the world. They're dancing so hard. All righty, my foot friends, let's check out the asteroids and hemorrhoids and on the sun. Sun's not looking too scary at the moment. That's the good news. I guess by now the SpaceX big rocket has hit the moon. We'll have to see what's come out of that. Maybe some astronomers. If you had a fairly decent telescope, even the amateur astronomers should have. They call them butt nuggets up here. Yeah, I was trying to avoid saying that new days. True. I said chicken nuggets. I started to say butt nuggets. Okay, you got me. Asteroids, nothing coming between the Earth and the moon, and that's good news. But this one is 2.2 times the distance of the moon. But this guy here is 100 meters in diameter. That's bigger than what hit out here and made Meteor Crater, which would have killed everything all around the state practically. On my property, I found lots of little molten rocks that came from that impact. Lots of them, not a little bit, lots and lots. These things have been zinging through the atmosphere, heating everything up when they came in. Some of them are perfectly spherical. This was not spherical, but you can see it's been melted. Now I get lava bombs out here too from when the Sunset Crater went off, almost 1,000 years ago. The Meteor Crater event was 50,000 years ago. But when that went off, all that stuff coming in the atmosphere, it would have been streaking through free, and a lot of friction in the upper atmosphere. The atmosphere would have been full of these things, but I'm finding just all over the place, like mats of these things. It would have been an oven on the ground. Everything on the ground underneath that would have baked. We're talking hundreds of degrees, over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It literally was an oven right here where I'm sitting 50,000 years ago when the Barringer Crater, Meteor Crater, was formed. Whew, I got a solution for that. I got a way to make it universal habitat, survive all that kind of stuff, and nuclear winters. I've been noodling this idea real good, guys. So hopefully I can build one. All right, my friends, we are going to stop the share. We're going to scan through the chat room real fast. I don't have a lot of time tonight. I'm already past time. I wanted to be done before midnight. I did not make that. Unfortunately, I'm going to open my phone up, see if I'm getting any donations from here through my website, greengregs.com. I got a donation button on there under the Bio-Worms page that a couple of you like to avail yourselves to. Okay, we got 43 in the house. Just dropped 2. So let's do I want to look at what you guys are saying. I'm going to take it back to the top. Colorado Jan was first in the house tonight, followed by Veronica, present and accounted for. Glad to know that. She's down in south of here, about 3 or 4 hour drive away. Been many years since I've seen her, though. Kabbalah Art. Let's see here. New days. Hexafus paid $1.53 an hour to pick that lettuce. That's what you paid, or you got paid that? But you heard about you getting paid, right? Man, when I was a kid, I used to like to pick bell peppers. We had a neighbor had a bell pepper truck farm. I could pick those in a hurry. I'd fill up 5-gallon buckets in minutes more. I could go like lightning through a field. I made some good money picking bell peppers. But I could flat move on it. All right. Thank you, Days, for sharing my link to True Leaf Market. Appreciate that. That's a good source to go to for seeds. All righty. I've gone through the whole chat room in just a few minutes. Okay, guys, we're going to do our egg guess, our famous egg guess. We're going back to our gardening roots here again. Let's go and talk eggs. How many eggs did how many New Day's main butt nuggets did I get today from my chickens? How many eggs from my chickens today? Go guess. We'll wait to see what you guys say. Sometimes it varies a fair bit. Not always the same number. How many eggs I gathered today? All right, we got one guess. Keep guessing. Keep get 2 guesses, 3 guesses. Keep going. Nobody got it yet. How many eggs I get today? This is our little game we like to play at the end of my videos. Keep going. Nobody got it. How you doing, Orwell? How many eggs I get today? Come on, more guesses. Everybody stop. Keep going. Not 6. Nope. Keep guessing. Hey, Traveler, how you doing? Keep guessing. All right, keep going, guys. Sure, I might hit the A. Keep going. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, nobody got it yet. I mean, I thought somebody did. Nope. Nobody got it yet. Keep going. Whoa, New Day's got it. 4. New Day's got 4 eggs. Kabbalah Art came in right behind her. It's 4 eggs. New Days got it first. 4. All right, no more guessing for a minute. No more guessing. Because I know that after I say something, the numbers keep rolling for a while. So when the numbers stop rolling or somebody throws in the trophy emoji for New Days, then I'll know where y'all are done guessing egg count. Eggs harvested. Okay, I'm not seeing any numbers rolling. How many of the 4 are Easter eggs? You should be able to figure this one out real fast because it's going to be 4 or less. It'll be somewhere between 0 and 4. So y'all should guess this one real quick. How many of my 4 eggs are Easter eggs? The possibilities are 0 to 4. Unless there's a negative number. I don't know how you get a negative egg, but unless I owe one to somebody. There you go. No, it's not 4. Yeah, you got the 4 total. All right, keep guessing. Yeah, running out of guesses real quick. Not a lot of options left. There you go. Traveler got it. Traveler got it. New Days, I just said it wasn't 4. When you showed a picture of 4 eggs, I don't know if that was a guess or not. Traveler got 3 of my 4 eggs are Easter eggs. And as I like to do, I like to show them to you. I don't think Ed over at Prepper Nurse one shows the eggs, does he? Maybe he started doing that. I hadn't seen him show them before. And here they are. The one that's not an Easter egg, it's light colored. It's not a dark brown one. That one's not an Easter egg. These 3 here are a light blue color. They're all Easter eggs. That one is not. It's hard to tell with this yaller light I got here. That's how you say it in Alabama. Yaller. Like the dog, oh, yaller. He's not oh, yellow. It's Yaller. Yaller. I can say yellow. It's yallard. I got a yaller light. Yaller light and a yaller egg. Not a brown egg. They're kind of a light brown, I guess. Beige, yeah, off-white, beige. That was not an Easter egg. That may be my part leghorn hen. All righty, folks. I'm going to say we're going to call it a night. We've been on for 64 minutes, and we got to go. I got to hit the hay, and I got to get up real quick. And I got a little processing to do before I get to go. My eyes are red because I didn't get enough sleep last night. And I won't get that much tonight either because it takes a little bit of time to get all this stuff processed once I end the video, and then brush my teeth and get myself up in the hayfield upstairs. So, hey, I want to thank all you mods for keeping the channel clean. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Everybody, remember, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. We live in perilous times. And if you're not growing your own food, get to growing, get started. And if you can't, hey guys, you can grow food in your house. I got old videos talking about growing microgreens. That's just one of the many that you can actually grow inside your house. There are people that put little gardens in their closet, in their garage. In the corner of I used to grow microgreens in my living room at one time. I may grow some upstairs. Just because my trailer is really big. I don't know how much market the local area support, but I'm looking at possibly growing microgreens again. You can grow vegetables in pots on your porch, on your stoop, in your windows. There's a lot of ways to grow stuff. Grow your own food. You're better off if you can do it. And that's what I got to say. You're better off. You know what you're getting. It's cleaner food. If you want to grow your own food, go to True Leaf Market and Eden Brothers. The links will be in the video. And also check out switchgreg.com if you hadn't considered that switch there to get away from buying contaminated products. Again, thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And with that, I want to, in honor of Granny Lana, say ho, ho, ho. She always